Warm greetings from the African Renaissance TV, from wherever specially you are watching us from. This is the Sustainability Track, and I am Mohamed Dibaji. Well, today's topic is an intriguing one, one in which we are going to look at a day in the life of a teacher. And this is a fascinating topic, and to help me form a conversation around this crucial topic, I have a guest who in an ordinary session wouldn't need an introduction, but for the sake of formality, I would give him some quick seconds to do a self-intro, and from there we can kickstart this conversation. Mr. Barry, and thank you for accepting our invitation to come onto the Sustainability Track.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's something that I really appreciate. I believe it is one of the ways that we could, as teachers, utilize to express ourselves so that the world could hear our voice and understand certain things that we are going through. My name is Madhu Barry. I recently graduated from the University of the Gambia as an economics major. Upon completion, I was taken to teach at Nusra Senior Secondary School, economics and marketing, and then as well I'm also teaching at the GDO, that is financial accounting. So basically, in summary, this is me.
Well, that is a quick summary, and it's an inspiring one. Like you said, having a conversation like this can lighten up the voices around teaching, and then the voice of a teacher is one that is so special, the one that is present in every area of life. And looking at this, it's a conversation that is there for everyone. But I want to get this before we can kickstart the conversation proper. What was the inspiration behind teaching? I mean, how you could have been a lot of things as a person, but then you find yourself in the teaching domain. What was the inspiration?
When I graduated from Nusra Senior Secondary School, upon completion, I established a business private class teaching economics, finance, accounting, cost accounting to help the grade 12 students. After doing that, I realized the feeling, the reward that I feel if I help students, and at the end of the day, they will say, because of you, I could make it. Because of you, I would be able to enroll at the university, and etc. etc. So those things, like those are things that you normally earn, in which money could not do anything about. So that's how I developed the passion of teaching, and then from there, when I went to the University of the Gambia, I began giving to a continuous thing. So that's what inspired me, the people that I help, and then to me, I believe that is one of the ways, as a person, I believe I could contribute to national development, and I feel very, very excited once I teach.
Well, that feeling of fulfillment, knowing that you've contributed to even a single quarter to someone's life, someone making progress, is one that is really associated with teaching, and it's one of the reasons why it is generally known as a noble field and a noble job. Well, that is quite important. But teaching does come with its own package, if you like to call it. Looking at balancing, let's say, the balance act in teaching, for instance. You are doing a teaching job in the classroom, you are doing an admin job in the school, you are doing, let's say, marking the student's script, for instance, and be also a motivation to the students, serving as a mentor in the whole. It's like a whole package in one.
Absolutely.
And how do you find your balance among this? Like, how do you able to balance all this? Like, marking, for instance, is one fascinating job that most people find tough. But how do you do that?
Absolutely. I think I would say it hasn't been difficult for me as someone who is new in the teaching field, because when I was in the University of the Gambia, as I said, I conduct tutorial classes. I help some lecturers to mark the scripts of other students. So it's something that I have been doing. And then after graduation, when I started teaching, it was just a continuous thing. You know, when you
it's an everyday thing.
Yes, it's like it's part of my life. That is why it's different. Like, I was doing it for lecturers, but now I'm doing it for myself. But the experience I have gained when I was doing it for the lecturers, that is the same thing that I have utilized in order to understand how best I can balance that with other stuff that I also do aside of teaching.
Oh, that's quite fascinating. I want to have it easy as you find as a right, like you said, but doing something repeatedly and then so consistently from the high school level to the tertiary level, and now I'm doing this specifically at that. It makes it easier, like you said. But like any other domain, teaching does come with its own challenges, right? And here challenges, I want to look at what are some of those things that make teaching difficult, especially in this age and time. as a young person, someone who has aspiration, someone who has been involved in academics, or you are still a teacher? But what challenges does that bring to you?
Sometimes you feel you are not necessarily pursuing your goal, but more of you are impacting the lives of other people. But it goes with timing. It goes with timing. And to me, yes, there are challenges. In fact, in every domain, as far as life is concerned, there are challenges. So it's part of the whole package of you being a teacher, because sometimes you'll be in class whilst students, maybe the way they left their homes, they were not properly coordinated. So they will bring that kind of attitude to the school. So how best do you cope with those kind of students? To me, that is also a challenge. And then not also being able to, let's say, sometimes students will not be able to attend lectures, and while you have already conducted it, you are moving to the next topic, they want you to go back. So that's also a challenge, and in which you have a teaching plan in which you wish to complete certain things within weeks or within months. So based on that, you might face certain delays as well. So those are some of the challenges that I could vividly remember. And then I also believe that the other thing that could also serve as a challenge to us, the teachers, is sometimes the collaboration we have between ourselves as a teacher and the admin. Okay. Sometimes there is that gap in which, because as I said, the ones who feels it is the one that knows it. So we are in class, we have a direct contact with students, so we easily know what are some of the things that the students are going through. So for us to launch those things to the admin, they might think we are trying to assist one student or the other. But for me, I feel we are the ones that should be given that liberty to be able to have a direct communication between the students.
That is real, because you have that direct interaction with the students.
Absolutely.
You tend to know their problems and their needs more often than someone who is sitting behind the desk in the office over there.
Absolutely.
That's an interesting part. But to look at this in the other side of the coin, I want to look at this to say, you, and during your time, the most important part of your time, let's say going 2 years ago, you were teaching, and then you were also a student leader, one of the highest positions at the University of the Gambia Students Union. That comes with a challenge. You had an academic burden on you as a student going to the university. You were a student leader in the University of the Gambia's governance structure, especially in terms of the student union. Mm-hmm. You were also a teacher. This is like 3 huge tasks that anyone can specialize on at a time.
Absolutely.
But you were taking all these 3 at a time. So I want to understand, how do you balance your time amongst them?
Well, I would say it is one of the most difficult things I have done. In fact, sometimes I do sit and think, how did I do it? Like, what was the inspiration behind me able to be able to mantle those kind of positions, and as well as focus on my academic life? I would say all has to do with passion. It all has to do with you believing these are things that you do. That is why I was reluctant in those days to get a normal job, like a specific normal job, because I knew if I had to do that, it means one of the things have to be an expense. That is either the student leadership, in which it's something that is voluntarily, in which I was not forced to take up the position, in which I stand in front of students to tell them, you vote for me, I will represent you. So that was not something that I could let go and bring something else. Awesome. The other thing has to do with academics. As we always say, the first thing that we look for if you are, let's say, in education is academics. That's the first thing. So to me, academics was my priority, and the student leadership was something that I promised I would do. I want to die to do that. So at the end of the day, that is how I was able to balance those two. And then, as I said, nowadays I sit and ask myself, how did I did that? I would say it's not about my effort alone. It's about, especially when it comes to my family, because in those days it's very rare that I have even time to maybe to communicate to them, to discuss certain things with them. Anytime that I'm at home, I am tired, or if I'm at home, I'm doing my services as a student leader. So it was difficult in that time for me to have that connection with my family, but now as well, family also is now a priority which I have to consider. Yes.
At some point, the family had to be substituted somehow, technically, with the students at either the secondary school you're teaching at or the university that you is serving at the time, and those are quite important ones. But then I want to get this. teaching can be a rewarding feeling. It could be a rewarding package for people. And most teachers will tend to tell you they have like an amazing experience that could be a life-changing moment. With you, if you had to cite one in terms of your experience with the students positively, that you think you've impacted someone's life, but then that has left a lasting impact on you as a person, what would you say?
I said that I am teaching economics and marketing at Nusrat and financial accounting at Daddy Job. But at the University of the Gambia, I had majored economics. So my knowledge in economics is wider compared to marketing and financial accounting. So when I begin teaching economics at Nusrat, students will tell me, because of you, I am inspiring to be an economics. So that to me is fulfilling. It's something that money cannot do. It's something that I believe has added value in terms of me being able to deliver at the best of my ability. And some students will say, okay, I wanted to drop economics, but because of the way you teach, because of the way you explain, we understand the concept, I would reconsider that decision. So to me, those things, those moments are the ones that I always recall and that smile and know that at least I have impact, if it is only one person in this country.
Well, impacting one person at a time, impacting one life at a time, one student at a time is the blueprint to any development.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that. And then for a student like that, if you are able to impact a student's life, you are not just impacting one student's life. This could be a family, this could be a region, this could be a country or a continent that you are impacting someone's life. And like you said, the rewarding aspect of it is that fulfillment that is there for you as a teacher, and that is quite important. So I want us to look at this before maybe taking our first break. When you're looking into the future, looking at the education system now in the Gambia, especially on teachers, what is it that you think we need to change?
Well, in terms of teachers, I would say my own opinion, because as I said, one man's poison is another man's meat. Maybe what I am going through as a teacher, another teacher is not going through that. Okay. But to me, I feel when it comes to the rewarding part in terms of the administration to the teachers, I think it's not promising. In fact, if you tell somebody that you are working, like let's say you are a teacher, to them it's not a work.
It's not work. You're
like
not
in fact, you are not doing anything.
It's like you're doing a voluntary job for now.
That is a concept that people have, because we haven't seen that, let's say, a teacher that has really, let's say, made it in life when it comes to material stuff. So sometimes we tend to attach those things with those. So to me, I believe in terms of rewarding, it should be expanded. It should be extended to the level that people can also be motivated, not only because of you're passionate about it, or not only because of let's say you have a passion or an inspiration to endeavor in that, but we also feel, yes, whatever that I'm doing, at least I'm gaining something in terms of material to sustain myself and my family. Because at the end of the day, that's what is the bottom line. Despite of we have passion for it, but that is the bottom line. So those things, I believe, are things that to me as a teacher that I am going through, and I believe maybe some are also going through.
Well, that reward actions and rewards can really interchangeably be a good match, and people need to be rewarded for the service they're doing. And then, like you said, the inspiration has to go beyond the passion. The passion is an important part, but
Absolutely.
then what comes after the passion too is an important determinant of why people can tend to choose a particular profession. Yes, so before we go for the first commercials, I want to get this straight. We want to have a walk through a teacher's life, like we said, a day in a life of a teacher. If there is a day to say, okay, tomorrow is school, for instance, what do we do as teachers? I want to understand the nitty-gritties from the first time you do, before entering the class, after the class, what happens, whatever necessary details that is there, I just want to know.
I think before even the D-Day, for you to teach in a particular class, you have to have what we call preparation, in which, let's say, you do that in the previous day. Maybe some will do it at night, some will do it in the afternoon before the day of the class, because you have to prepare the things that you want to teach. And then which classes, let's say grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12, and all those grades have different topics that you need to cover. So it means you have to recap those topics that you want to cover during the day. So when I wake up in the morning, I take bath, wear my clothes, I go to school. The first morning I enter the class, I grade, and then have an interaction with the students before I even start with the topic. Okay. Because sometimes, as I said, students are kind of not focused, especially when they're in class for the first time, let's say in the morning. So you need to create that environment whereby you can bring their attention before you begin your lesson. So throughout the day, that's what we do. Break time, you go and eat, you relax. After that, let's say maybe 1, 2, you close school. When you go home, you are very, very tired because you have been talking, let's say, throughout the day. So it's not easy.
I can imagine how exhaustive that is, even though it comes with its fun moments and amazing moments that you have good experience and knowing that you are impacting people's life, and then it can be fulfilling, but then it also comes with its cost in terms of the energy run out that you can have as a person.
Absolutely.
But that is so. We'll continue this conversation right after the first commercials, and I think there are more interesting questions to come that anyone watching would love to hear. So after the break, anyone would like to catch up with us here. So this is all we have for you in this first segment of the sustainability here today on this African Renaissance TV. But before we go out for that short commercials, we want to tell you this is a program that is open for partnerships and collaborations. And when we return, the conversation continues here with Mr. Mamadou Barry. Thank you. Welcome back from that short commercials. If you are just joining us, this is the Sustainability Track coming your way from the African Renaissance TV with me, Mohamed Bibaji. Well, today our topic of discussion is a day in the life of a teacher, a topic that has been an interesting one, and the first part of the conversation has been an interesting one that Mr. Barry has been taking us through. This is a young teacher who has been inspiring a lot of lives in different fields. Mr. Barry, thank you. I know you're a full, and then whatever you might have been given during the break is something you cannot reveal to anyone, but it's always good because during breaks are enjoyment moments for people where you can eat and freshen up so that the next part of the conversation can be more interesting. He has been given something to freshen up, and then now the interview has to be a more interesting one. Thank you. So, but before you can really react to that, which I will not allow you to do, I want us to talk about this. Students generally come from different backgrounds, and in a school system you have a lot of students, a lot of types of people that converge in that in those schools. There are people that come there to learn, like we said, in the types of students we have. There are some that are technically forced to come and learn. Others are there, but then they just want to go along with the crowd. Absolutely. And this is why every teacher has his or her own way of inspiring people or inspiring students to be specific. I want to know your secret. How do you inspire your students?
Well, to me, I think one of the things that teachers should utilize in terms of inspiring students is to be honest to themselves first. Like the teachers to be honest in terms of their life experience, in terms of education, the things that they wish they could have done better, the perception, and in those ways, students could tend to see in what are the things that they necessarily need to do. Because to me, I don't think like in this life there's only one roadmap. There are different roadmaps. So I do not like saying, telling you this is what I do and this is what I expect you to do. Yeah. No, I will tell you this is what I have done, this is what I have learned. I wish I could have done better and better. So you, the individual that is listening, could see what you have to do in terms of, let's say, in academics, in terms of life itself. And then it's also, as we say, it's one of the challenges that we go through as teachers, having students that come from different backgrounds, which is not bad, which is good. That is why in the classroom, we the teachers, we have to treat all of them equal. Despite we will know their levels are different, we will know where they are coming from, maybe that's also different, but at the end of the day, we have to treat them equal, to show them no matter where you come from, no matter what you are doing, in this class, we are all equal. So that gives you a sense of saying, okay, no one is above anyone in this class. So to me, that is how I do my best in terms of inspiring students, for them to feel this is a place where you need to learn. If I even tell them, like, it's not only about academics, because sometimes I do discuss about, let's say, life aside of academics, and I think that is also important, which when I was a student I did not have. My focus was only in academics. I don't have, let's say, someone that would be discussing the certain things that I also need to understand aside of academics. So to me, that is what I add for students to tend to balance, for them to see, well, because some will say, okay, I'm in school because of my parents. You've got to understand, as a student, that is your responsibility. You're doing it for yourself. I tell them to, in fact, sometimes when I receive my salary, I go to the classroom, I remove the money, I show them, you see the money I have, and even if I'm going to give my mom or my dad, it has to start from me first.
Enjoying
the money before they will receive it. But in those days when I was going to school, I was not saying this. To me, I was doing it for them. To me, I was going to school maybe because of the society, not necessarily knowing I am doing this for myself. So it is important for students to realize whatever that they're doing in school, they are doing it for themselves. And the other thing that I also ask them, because I have that tete-a-tete communication with them, you as a student, you are in school, ask yourself, if I was a parent, I have a child, and the child is behaving the same way I'm behaving in school, are you going to be happy, or are you going to be proud of it? They will say no. So that tells you, you as a person, there is something that you need to add. You as a person, there is something you need to subtract. So those kind of communication, I think, will also necessarily add value to how they will perceive schooling.
Well, that's quite interesting. I've had a lot of how do you call it, secret sources to inspire people, especially by teachers to their students. But this is a special one, and then I like the aspect that it has to be originality. It's like being honest to yourself. They don't have to copy what you do. They don't have to do exactly what you do, but then they can learn from you. And then learning from other people's mistakes can tend to be one of the most effective, rather than learn from your own mistakes. You can always be a better person if you're looking to learn from different people, especially people that are closest to you, like your teachers. That is quite an interesting part. But I want to look at this again. When it comes to teaching, and especially here in the Gambia, now it's an interesting part. We are looking at people who tend to say teaching could be the best way of learning. You have experienced this at some level. You were a student at the tertiary level at the university, and you were also teaching at the high school level. I want to see this transition. Do you think teaching at the high school level can help you has instill any form of skill or ability in you to make learning at the university better for you?
Well, one thing that it could do, you're still connected with academics. That's one thing it could do. But to me, I believe it will be more beneficial if you were at the tertiary level instead of at high school. Because most of the things that we do at high school
are not directly applicable.
Directly, not secondary level. It's more of you are there providing services for people directly for them to impact their lives. But that is the joy that you gain. But not directly, let's say, improving yourself as a person, because those things that you're doing, it stops at that level. That is why sometimes I always try to connect the things that we are doing at this level, let's say at high school, and then how that can have an impact when you go to the university. So you'll be at high school and you'll be viewing what could be the possible things at the university. So sometimes I teach them certain things that might not necessarily be something that they need to cover at the high school level. Yeah, but especially if you're in grade 12, I do to connect those things, because that is what we want. When you're done, you go to the university, and I tell them, you can go to university, you can go to college, you can do whatever you want to do, but do not relent. Do not sit down and say, okay, I'm waiting for my brother, I'm waiting for my sister, or for my mom, or for my uncle. You have to do it, and anything that comes with it, then that's fine. And the other thing that I did not say at the previous question regarding the inspiration, how do I inspire them? Because as a student, if you see a teacher, to you is someone who is well packaged. To them, we are individuals that are perfect. And to me, I am not scared. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed of the mistakes that I have done. So to me, I think it is also important for us as teachers to be telling the student it's okay to fail,
to make mistakes. And
no, it's in fact it's fine, because if there was a class I told them, like I did grade 9 twice. I failed the first time, and then I repeated again. But to me, in those periods, I did not know in fact the things that I was doing. To me, when they said I should repeat again, I said no, I will not repeat. In fact, I will I will drop out. I will not go to school again. So it was a push and pull between me and my family, especially my mom, until I said, okay, let me do it again. Then that's the time I proceeded to high school, then to university. So now if you see me, you will not see that individual.
What happened in the background is not of concern to anyone
right now. But I think it's also important for students to know, yes, if I do not make it, I still have a chance to make it again. It's not like it's a one shot. It's not. But at the end of the day, what do you do with that? How do you wake up from that? That's the key.
Well, and that is where real people are born, because when there is a challenge like that, you tend to become a better person if you're able to go through it and do something that is enormous as you have achieved. And then students learning from this, looking at you as that could be that better inspiration we are looking out there. That you're looking at your teacher to say, okay, when he had failed once, but he has woken up from that failure and then made it more into a life, and then now he's teaching me, so they could always learn from that. And that is something that is quite inspiring. But for the sake of time, I want us to take an advice session now. What advice would you have for people, especially young people who are venturing into teaching lane to take up that role as a teacher in the society? What advice would you have for them, especially in this age and time, given all the challenges and all other factors that are embedded in it?
Well, to me, I will be honest and straightforward. I think if you are an individual who is inspiring to be a teacher, there are certain qualities which you need to have. Either you need to train them or whatsoever, but you need to have them. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to survive. One is communication skill. How best do you communicate with the students? And how do you know whether they absorb what you say? Because sometimes you will ask them, do you understand? They will say, yes, we do. So that because they want you to proceed, but by looking at their faces, by looking at them, you will tend to understand, okay, maybe they did not, but let me ask questions to verify whether they understand what I said before I move to the next step. So that is one. The other thing is also to have empathy, to put yourself in their position when you were a student, because you don't always have to think of the way you are a teacher now, and you don't consider when you were a student. I always tell them when I was a student how stubborn I was, whatsoever, etc., so that they will know, okay, I was there. That's why I tell them, whatever you do in this class, I know, because it's things that I have done.
It's things that principal was once a student.
Yes, once a student. So I think those things are also important. And the other thing is to have patience, because sometimes it's crazy. As I said, students come from different backgrounds. You don't, for example, if you are teaching 40 students, you don't know where they live as a teacher. You don't know who and who they are living with, how they have been treated in their houses, in their homes. If they come to school, whatever that they are doing in their houses, those are things that they will bring in school. So you as a person, as a teacher, you have to understand. Sometimes you would talk to them, they will respond to you in a very bitterly way. Yeah. But by communicating to them after the class, why do you have to respond to me like that? You will tend to understand maybe they have certain issues.
It's beyond the classroom.
It's beyond the classroom. So you don't have to think things personally. You have to be so rational as a teacher to know how best you can mitigate that. Because for me, that's what I do. I always try to have a tete-a-tete with them. If I see your behavior is not appreciated in class, I call you personal. I talk to you like, what's your problem? Why are you behaving this? Why can you do this? Why can you do that? So at the end of the day, I tend to realize, well, this is beyond what I think it is, not only in the class, but the impact that they have in their houses. And some, I even do communicate with their parents on how best they can help them, because us, the teachers alone, we cannot do it. It's a collaborative stuff in which parents have a role to play. We, the teachers, have a role to play. The admin, that is the school itself, also have a role to play, and as well as the society. So it's like all of us have a role to play in order for our students to be whatever that we want them to be.
Well, indeed, in order to have that perfect student, that impactful student in the future or anywhere, like you said, it's a collaborative effort from all stakeholders, from the governments to institutions to parents, most importantly the teachers, and then the students themselves to forge in a future that we really want. But there is always someone here and so who would always be telling me that it's time and we have to be conscious of the time, and I try to make these episodes as sustainable as possible in terms of time. So we are going to take this as not just the penultimate question, but maybe let me say the last question. The last question would be looking at our education system, especially this one. I want to be specific on the Gambia. If you could change one thing, what would it be and why?
I believe our current education system is so focused on numbers and grades. and I think that is something that we should do away, because that's why you hear different kinds of scandals, because they would do whatever they could do so that they can get better grades, to meet up those numbers, so that the society can appreciate them. Because for us, we believe if you don't do well when you are in school, the society will not appreciate you. You will be castigated. So fear of that would make you to do anything that is possible so that you can get better grades. So I think we should shy away from that. Instead of our system being based on grades and the numbers, it could be something that can be analytical skills. We could focus on that. We could focus on creativity. We could focus on innovation. I think in that line, it will help individual to feel like, because I would just take myself as an example. When I was in high school, as a commerce student, I did general science, and I got A1 in general science in my high school. But today, it's not useful to me. In fact, I cannot even remember the single thing I did in that exam. So where is that grade to me? It has not necessarily, let's say, direct impact to my life, but maybe, let's say, the subjects that I'm doing now, let's say economics and finance accounting, because that is what I am passionate about. Now, if I'm reading something, I'm not pressurized because there's no timeline. But because of we focus on grades, students focus more on memorizing, cramming, to go and answer questions just to have the grades. But at the end of the day, what we really want the students to know when it comes to understanding becomes difficult. And the other thing is, which I believe we should, my own opinion, which I might be wrong, possibly, is that for us to generalize mathematics in high school, let's say the commerce students, the art students, and the science students, they all need certain things in mathematics. I think it should be specialized. They should not be doing general mathematics, because, for example, if it is general mathematics, it favors more of the science students and some of the commerce students, but art student is a no-go area. So why not we specialize things that they might need in their field in terms of mathematics, for them to have that, then the commerce student will also have theirs, and the science student will also have theirs, so that we will not generalize the mathematics. That is also one of the things that I believe could be done, so that we can easily...
Technically, that is what we're going to refer to as an update of the curriculum. And like you said, I think it's an important one. This is something that all important stakeholders in terms of education in this country, and in fact beyond the country, at the continental perspective, it needs to be, it's something that has been sung, but then we will continue to sing, to say that curriculum needs to be updated. It needs to suit the realities of today. Absolutely. And that has been an interesting one, and to have more of these programs. I am looking at that future where we can bring you here again as, say, one day the Minister of Education in this country. That will be quite an amazing feat.
I hope so.
But it's something, indeed, in the right trajectory as far as education is concerned. And on behalf of the whole Renaissance family, I would sincerely extend our appreciation for your coming here on the Sustainability Track to have a conversation around such a crucial topic. But before I wrap up, if you can have a quick final remarks, say 30 seconds at most.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. It is something that I would recommend for it to continue, because it's important for the people to understand the things that the teachers are going through in their lives, so that it would be an added value to how they are appreciated in society. It's just maybe in this country, but in other countries, teachers are well paid, teachers are respected. But here, it's like, if you are a teacher, it's like you don't have something else to do. That is why you're there. But that is not true. People are there for many, many years because of the passion, because of the love they have. And without them, maybe you and I will not be sitting down here. So they play a pivotal role in terms of national development. So that is what I want the people to understand, and then the people to hear. Thank you.
Those are quite good remarks. Teachers hold a valuable pillar to our lives as human beings, our development as a country, and our progress as a continent. And African Renaissance TV, the Sustainability Track, and the whole Renaissance family is on path to bringing you more and important programs and conversation around such a topic in terms of education and all other topics. And to have more insights into what we do, you stay tuned and subscribe into all our platforms, especially our YouTube channel on Facebook. And now we are also on TikTok, as something that you can always be watching, like in all other episodes will be there stream for you to have a conversation around that. But interestingly, before we let go of you on this episode of the Sustainability Track, African Renaissance TV has brought to you something that is truly amazing and unique. This is known as the Renaissance is Africa pitch competition, a competition that is bringing up 9 different regions on 9 different thematics to have a conversation and a pitching competition amongst them that is going to translate into an impactful project for 9 different projects. To have more insights in this, you stay tuned to our different social media handles, and as we bring you daily updates from that through our activities. Until we come your way again, I am Mohamed Bibaji, and this has been an appreciation, and thank you for all watching this coming your way from the Sustainability Track. Thank you.